Good.
There's something you
I mean, actually serve papers.
yeah, is there
I'm like that.
something, there's something that's not public?
All right, the committee will come to order. This is a meeting of the Littlestown Area Board of School Directors. This is a live, in-person meeting taking place in the public in accordance with the Sunshine Act. By attending and or commenting publicly in this meeting, you're consenting to the recording, retention, and future viewing of this meeting. Carrie, would you please call the roll?
Mary Brenneman. Here. Stephen Yerger.
Here.
Nick Lovell.
Here.
And Janelle is.
If you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We now recognize members of the public who have signed up to provide public comment as stipulated in policy 902. When your name is called, please approach the podium, state your name, confirm you're a resident or taxpayer in the district, and your topic of discussion for the record. Please direct your comments to the board as a whole, not to an individual, and we ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. The privilege to speak may be interrupted, revoked, or a recess of the meeting may be called by the chair if the speaker does not observe reasonable decorum in orderly conduct. Thank you. Suzanne Johnson.
My name is Suzanne Johnson. I'm a district parent, resident, taxpayer, and voter. This week is Public Service Recognition and Teacher Appreciation Week. As a civil servant, I understand and truly appreciate the commitment that our teachers and other public service professionals make to serve our communities. Sometimes in partnership with leadership, but unfortunately oftentimes despite our leaders. Our district has amazing teachers committed to seeing our students succeed. As a taxpayer and parent, I'm frustrated that the school leaders' spending priorities don't seem to be aligned with improving student outcomes. Without the appropriate tools and resources, our students continue to struggle with reading and math, which has resulted in our district having the lowest PSSA scores in the county, and MAMS was required to develop a targeted support and improvement plan due to the performance of our students with disabilities being at or below state standards. You spent considerable time developing new mission and mission statements and mapped curriculum to standards, which I'm sure you've always done in the past too. You slow-walked the implementation of evidence-based science and reading methods and introduced yet another automated assessment and instruction tool by Ready this year. My daughter has completed plenty of automated lessons, often without learning skills because she needed to be taught by a professional, not just another computer program. And it's not just the students and parents wanting more help. Dr. Berryman, when she was the high school principal, and Principal Golden from MAMS have also discussed using a co-teaching strategy with 2 teachers for classes where students need more help. However, we're seeing that spending tends to go towards increasing central office instead of necessarily help in the classroom. On the rare occasions this committee actually addresses curriculum, there seems to be a lack of support for our education professionals by superseding their expertise with board members' opinions. I'm concerned that this lack of support will impact maintaining quality teachers. I have repeatedly urged the school board to move past your personal attacks to keep the focus on education. Yet the vast majority of discussion about board policy over the past year had nothing to do with education, but focused on trying to control other board members and limiting the rights of district employees, students, and the public. This included extensive debate about board functions, organizations, and meetings, the solicitor contact process, board communication protocols, and guidelines for recording public meetings that violate the Sunshine Act, and rewriting board procedures to encourage board members to get volunteer clearances. But then, in an unprecedented move, he denied Board Director Sullivan's request to be a volunteer. Perhaps the most critical investment needed at this time for our students is career and technical education. Despite the priority for our students and our community's workforce, you didn't allocate any of the budget surplus to ACTI. Instead, the board approved expensive new spending on athletic fields and additional facility improvements. Despite declining enrollment, the district's employment has increased, especially, like I said, in central office positions. The board didn't seem to have any problem approving a new food service coordinator position and administration raises a year before those contracts were scheduled to expire. Yet there seems to be considerable pushback on mental health and special education funding, as was discussed in the last meeting. After 6 months of requesting student infraction data and submitting a right-to-know request, last year I finally got the district to provide me with my requested data. When I tabulated that data, I was happy to see that it showed that 90% of student infractions are non-criminal, non-violent behaviors. With an average of 17.5 of these behavior incidents per day, this data, along with all the other data Dr. Fiaski has presented on numerous occasions, there's support for continued need for special education and mental health resources, especially behavior specialists and autism support. Finally, I want to note that the bullying reported in that school data that was provided is much lower than the concerns expressed by parents and students. Perhaps bullying doesn't get reported to building leaders, or the definition of bullying differs between what the school thinks is bullying and what families think is bullying. But clearly, bullying is an ongoing concern expressed by students and parents and must continue to be a focus for school leaders. During the previous campaign, wrestlers said, quote, "We need a board who will engage with the community and not ignore the taxpayers, parents, and community members when they have a concern. There needs to be better interaction, such as town halls and QA during public comment at meetings." I'm still waiting for that to happen. Actions speak louder than words, and we need school leaders that respectfully engage with all community members and hold the administration and each other accountable to prioritize our students. I pray that voters will be better informed to elect school board members that don't attempt to suppress transparency and actually bring the positive changes we need in the school district.
Wayne Sullivan.
Good evening to the board. I wasn't going to speak tonight, but a couple of things came to my mind as I was sitting through the FBNS meeting. Number one, I have a huge problem with the transparency of this district. The lack of giving documents to board members is getting worse and worse and worse. And I'll give you an example of that. Well, we can start with the solicitor statements, the solicitor invoices to start off with. And number two, now we can start talking about the actual financial presentation link. I got on my laptop, I couldn't even see it, but yet I can see somebody that's running over here has their own private little sheet given by their little private little friend. And I'm a bulk. I'm a member of this board. And I have not received the link, even on my laptop, to the financial presentation tonight. That's unacceptable. You all ought to be ashamed of yourself for lack of transparency. You really ought to be. Because you're hiding it from certain board members and giving it to certain public people running. It's ridiculous. It's got to stop. Now, solicitor invoices, you know, that started it. Y'all think you just keep everything secret. No, that's not going to happen. I've seen too much being said in some of these interviews I watched the other day on April 19th. Oh, the district's fine. The education's fine. No, it's not. No, it's not. Last year I mentioned the PSSA scores, how bad this district is doing. Teaching the children math and science and language arts. We are number 6 out of 6 districts in Adams County. And for somebody to sit there at the table and literally say, oh, the education's fine, everything's fine, just shows the ignorance of this person. I couldn't believe it. I literally couldn't watch the whole thing. I just could not believe you're that uninformed. I have been fighting this for years. This has been going on for years. Look back at the figures. It even made it back in the newspaper. Please get educated before you open your mouth, because it literally pissed me off. I'm like, we are not okay. The students are not passing the PSSAs. We are at 18.2%. The year before last, we were 19.3. We are dropping. Gettysburg, guess where they're at? 50. We're bad. We're really bad. We need to stop focusing on the politics of what everybody's trying to do. The students is what I care about. That's what I care about. And so far, I've spent, 16 months on this board, and we haven't done anything for the students. We haven't done anything. We're paying administrators, we're hiring more administrators, we're putting more administrators in, we're hiring administrators for the administrators, we're hiring employees for the administrators. That's all we're doing. I mean, and we're talking about autism class the other day. I mean, that is very important. That's very important to me. I brought that up in the last meeting, very important. So my whole point is, the priorities of this district are way off key. We have a lot of work to do. And you know, I talked to Judith Berryman when we made her, Dr. Berryman, excuse me, when we made her assistant superintendent. I'm giving her time to iron this out, but we have got to figure out why our students are doing so bad on these test scores. Because this district needs to, these students need to learn how to do math, and they need to learn how to read and write. They need to pass with better scores. And that's been my whole point. That's my only agenda. That's the only thing I'm concentrated on. The teachers are great. The curriculum, something's wrong. There's something wrong. We need to give the teachers better tools. We need to give them something to make this work better. Because, you know, it's not working as it is now. And it took me last year to even bring this up. Because I was doing the research. I mean, when I came on as a board member, I didn't run for myself. I ran because I came here and I saw what was going on with the students, with the district. And I literally thought, somebody has got to open this up and look at it. And then that's why I ran. So far, I feel like I've wasted 16 months just sitting here, paying people more money. When we need to concentrate on the students. I mean, there's only so many days in a year, and all we do is sit around and quabble and argue and pay each other. Not me, but staff. And it's got to stop. We need to have a better focus on what the students and what's happening with them. And I appreciate y'all letting me speak tonight. Thank you.
Question for Carrie or Dr. Mitchell. Was the finance committee link given to anyone?
No, it wasn't in public.
I can show you that reason.
I was able.
I'll be happy to show you.
It wasn't on.
I'll show that to you.
It is now, it was not.
It was not on.
We're going to come to order.
Oh, he can lie and just keep talking.
Excuse me, we're in order.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there we are.
The link was provided yesterday within 24 hours of the finance.
The board's supposed to have it 48 hours.
Excuse me, you're out of order.
I'm not out of order.
You are out of order.
You brought it
You're
up.
not permitted to speak from the audience. That's enough.
Oh, unless I'm somebody you know.
Excuse me, that's enough. Moving forward, yes, we're going to move on to presentations, and we have some wonderful guests here with us this evening that we are very excited to have. And Mr. Moran is going to kick it off and introduce all of them for us.
So we're really happy tonight to come to you for particularly the Teacher Appreciation Week. We have an outstanding kindergarten group who are here to share some of our working in preparation of our preschool summer program. And if you remember last year we came to the board, we had some discussions, talked about that, and we made some adjustments to what we learned last year to what we've got this year. So I'm going to let them formally introduce themselves. So Ms. Durant, if you want.
Hi, I'm Michelle Durand. I actually had Nick for 2 years. He was one of my looping kiddos, and so you start to feel a little bit older when you start to see them in positions like this. And someday when he's president, I get a personal tour of the White House. That's going to happen. Hello, everyone. My name is Erica Padilla. I'm a student teacher currently, and I will be working here at Littlestown in kindergarten next school year. Nice to meet everyone.
So she's the replacement for Ms. Garman, who will be moving to the transition to her other position. So we're excited about Erica and what she's going to bring to our team.
I'm Dawn Kelly, and I don't know why I'm tearing up over nothing other than I think allergies, so I'm not offended by anything or crying that Erica's leaving us tomorrow. So I had the privilege of being Erica's mentor to her cooperating teacher, and she's amazing, and we're very, very lucky to have her in our district.
I'm Erin Vaughn, and I did not have my global. I teach kindergarten, so.
And I
am Jennifer Yingling. I also did not have Nick Lovell on. He's a great guy. And so I am here to present our proposal for what we are looking at for our summer readiness program this year. This program is designed to help families ease into the transition to kindergarten by giving them a clear understanding of what to expect. It's more than just an introduction. It's about laying a strong foundation for a child's successful start in school and beyond. The changes we've made are based on feedback that we received last year, and we're aiming to better meet the needs of all incoming kindergartners. Families will be invited to attend multiple sessions throughout the summer. These sessions are structured to help the children become comfortable with the school environment and to reduce first day anxiety. Parents will also have the opportunity to engage with staff, ask questions, and begin building relationships with the school team. We recognize that families are a child's first and most important teachers. Our goal is to create strong, lasting partnerships with parents starting before the school year begins. The program will provide tools, resources, and expectations that empower parents to support learning and development at home. We'll share key readiness goals such as early academic skills, social and emotional development, and establishing routines to help families understand what kindergarten readiness really means. Parents will be offered practical tips and fun activities they can do with their child to support these areas at home. We are partnering with organizations like the Thunderbolt Foundation and their Dolly Parton Imagination Library to enhance the reach and impact of this program. These partnerships bring valuable resources, funding, and engagement opportunities to help support both families and schools. One of our core goals is to ensure that the children's first experience with school is joyful, positive, and welcoming. We believe that a positive start leads to a more confident and successful school journey. This is really just the beginning. Our long-term goal is to grow this program to begin earlier in the year, reaching families sooner and preparing children even more thoroughly. Ultimately, we aim to build a connected community where families feel supported and children are set up for long-term academic and social success. So we have to provide to you a flyer that outlines what our sessions are, what we're currently looking at for the sessions. There are 5 times, on there are, I think, 5 sessions through the summer, including one will start on Thursday nights. So we will let you look at that and then see what questions you have for us.
Can I ask one of you to explain how you'll be working with the students while another group's working with the parents and kind of alternating that on these nights so that they have an understanding?
Sure. The first night, Thursday night when they come in, we are going to divide them into 2 groups randomly as they arrive. And one of the groups will be parents and children together touring the school, so they get a chance to see what the facility looks like. We thought it was important to do that at this session because right now the school looks great and there's not stuff piled up in the hallways and so forth. So we thought that was a good time for the school tour. And then meanwhile, the other half of the people who come will be divided, and we are going to have the parents in here actually, so that the ambiance is nicer, and the children in the classrooms. So we'll be able to do a read aloud with them, we'll be able to observe them a little bit, just see who has trouble separating from parents, and give the parents an idea of what to expect with kindergarten. Each of the nights, we won't necessarily pull them apart that much. But we will always, every one of the events, we have a focus for the parents, something to work on, whether it be name writing, numbers, whatever. There's an academic focus on every one of the nights. And then we have a calendar that we put out that kind of reinforces that and lets them practice that until the next month. So,
In addition, we'll be available to meet with parents, like at the 20th, during the summer, where if they have a question, they have a concern, it will make them ready to speak to any teacher, and that will be available to kind of mingle with them, along with playing with their kids in a less formal setting.
If you wouldn't mind, can you explain how your team came to the decision that this format was more beneficial than the previous format that was a smaller group of kids on a multi-week basis?
I think what we realized is that there is really, with the programs that we've done in the past, have been successful, and I'm not saying that wasn't a good thing to do, but we were meeting the needs of, say, 30, and we didn't even have that many last year. But there was really no parent component, because the parents would sign up for the program, and the kids would come to all the days, and the kids were ready to come to school for the most part, but we didn't really feel like we had an opportunity to say to the parents, hey, you know what, if you put scissors in your kid's hand, they're gonna be more successful, and maybe they won't cut their hair, and, stuff like that. They can be more successful with the academic tools, with the academic expectations that we have, if we've had a chance. And we found that our back-to-school night, it's chaos. It's people, and they're coming in, and they're thinking about their own thing, and they're not really focused on what does my child need to do, and especially first-time parents really don't know what a kindergartner really should be able to do. And we just felt like we sat around saying, how can we meet the needs of both the kids and the parents? And we felt like this was going to be a way to do it. It made us much more visible. We thought that the visibility was really important, and the accessibility. We're there, and we can answer questions. And we plan to have it be kind of scaffolding, so that if you don't come to May 8th, you'll get that information at the next one. You know what I mean? We'll just keep piling it on. So if the first one you come to is July 22nd, you'll get the stuff from May 8th and June 25th, and we'll try to get them caught up. But it was really a hope that we could help parents and make a connection with the community as a whole.
I think we